Okay, hi everyone. This is a continuation from our lecture on Sunday. So we are going to continue. First, we are going to talk about the value chain. So what is value chain? Value chain is a model that helps you to understand on the supply chain management, the supply chain in one organization. So it's the model represent how supply chain activities can add value to products and services delivered to the customer. So this model we call it is known as value chain, Porter value chain. It was introduced by Michael Porter in 1980. So if you look here, there are two parts of value chain activity. First is secondary and second is primary. So from inbound logistic production, outbound logistics, sales and marketing. So ini it shows you the process from the raw materials. The activities happen from the raw materials up to the how it is delivered to the customer. Okay, and then the second value chain activities is the support activities that support the organization itself, that help to support the organization itself. So it can it can be done by reducing costs and adding value within and each element of the value chain. So how we can use information system to reduce the cost to solve the problem in supply chain management by adding the value in each of the element in the value chain itself. So we can add the information system, for example, the procurement process in procurement system in inbound logistic, and maybe we can add a system, the SAS software for the production and the outbound logistic. So we can have a SaaS software for logistic itself. So also we can have the interface between the element of value chain, such as between sales and distribution. So for example, between the distribution and the sales, we have the interfaces that can make them communicate, or maybe between sales and also the production. So the production can communicate directly to the sales. So the sales and marketing department or component can give the forecasting for production to predict for the next production. So tak perlu buat orang kata buat secara sembrono the production based on the sales forecasting. So dia akan mengelakkan daripada oversupply. So the electronic communication can be used to enhance the value chain by making activities such as procurement more efficient and enable data integration between the activities of the value chain. So value chain here helps us to understand the supply chain management process in an organization and helps us to identify which part of the elements in the value chain can be improved using the electronic communication or information systems. So these are the example of the usage of electronic communication and information system that have been added to the value chain elements and activities to improve the process. So we can read it later. You may stop the video and read it and understand it. Okay. So this is another example on a production of a coat, a single coat. So to make this jacket for the US market, Hong Kong garment producer Li and Fang ordered materials from factories in 5 countries and had them delivered to Thailand, where the jacket was stitched together. Using a network of websites, Li and Fang stays in touch with its worldwide suppliers and can compress the time it takes to get items into stores. So if you look here, with the help of a website and the SAS itself, Li and Fang managed to combine all the suppliers around the globe for a single jacket. Kalau tengok kat sini, China, the world's largest producer of cotton and linen, and Taiwan, which specializes in making material for outdoor clothing. So it have a material from Germany, from Japan and from Thailand, and then it will be exported to US for US market. So it shows you how the information system for our e-business can be added to a value chain activities. Okay, beginning from the raw materials, collecting all the raw materials from a different country, collect them together, send them to Thailand, and then produce it there, produce the code at Thailand, and then stitch it, and then pack it and distribute it or send it to US for US market. So here is another example. The value chain of this is the value chain for the apparel value chain for the apparel. If you look here, there are two types of fibers. It's either natural fiber or synthetic fiber. Okay, natural fiber is made from cotton, wool, silk, and etc. Okay, and then if you look here, there are the component of the value chain from the raw materials of the network. Okay, the outbound logistic, and then the production process and inbound logistic, and sales and marketing department. So sales and marketing component in a value chain. So it represents the value chain elements. Okay, starting from the raw materials, inbound logistic, production, and then outbound logistic, and last kali is sales and marketing. So kalau kita tengok kat sini, there are two components, ada natural fibers, synthetic fibers. Okay, and then we send it to the production area. Okay, and then we produce the product kalau North America, Asia. Okay, and then outbound logistic, it will be sent to branded name apparel companies, to overseas buying offices and trading companies, and then also the marketing process and the sales and marketing process. Okay, so what are the benefits of e-supply chain management? So it's provide the right information to the right entity at the right time in a secure manner. Okay, so if we talk about if we go back to our example previously, the code example, so can we imagine how to, without an information or without e-supply chain management, without digital communication, how Li and Fang can communicate with their supplier, in the various country correctly? How Li and Fang can tell those supplier what exactly they are needed for each of the single codes. Okay, and then it also helps them to negotiate prices and contracts. Okay, so when we talk about the supplier, you must have negotiating process and you must have contracts. Takkan nak hantar satu je. Okay, so it's supply chain management lessen make the processes lesser, makin kurang proses tu. Okay, and placing and receiving orders, paying and receiving payment, reduce order to delivery time. Okay, for example, kalau sekarang awak nak beli barang, you can in a single click you can do the payment, do the purchasing, and just wait for 2 days, 1 day to receive the product, and reduce cost of manufacturing, manage inventory more efficiently, improve demand forecasting, reduce time to introduce new product. We have discussed it before. Okay, kenapa reduce time to introduce new product? Okay, improve aftermarket and post-sales operation. So with them, as we discussed before, supply chain management bukan sekadar dalam involved between suppliers and the businesses only. It's also involved with customers. So dalam supply chain management, it's also involve the components that get the feedback from the customer. So with the supply chain management, okay, customer and the business tu dekat, so we can get the feedback from the customer instantly. Okay, so what else for the benefit of e-supply chain to B2B company? business to business company. So what are the benefit of it? So among them is increase the efficiency of individual process. So if we look into the value chain itself, so there are 5 components in value chain. So we can combine, make them interact between each other. So for example, B2B company adopts e-procurement. This will result in a faster cycle time and lower cost per order. So with e-procurement, the order process might have simpler and shorter. Okay, so the production process akan jadi lebih cepat. Sebab apa? Sebab nak order barang from the supplier, it takes lesser time, makin kurang, reduce the time. So it will improve the process of the production. Okay, and also reduce the complexity of supply chain. So B2B company will offer facility to sell direct from its e-commerce site rather than through its distributor or retailers, thus reduce cost of channel distribution and sale. For example, okay, kalau ikut case ni kata instead of we have discussed on Sunday, macam mana e-supply chain can help to remove intermediaries between the business and supplier and also business and customer. So bila kita remove intermediary, the supply chain will be less complex. Sebab apa? Your business and dia punya customer akan talk to each other. Okay, dia akan tak perlu ada orang tengah. Okay, and improve data integration between elements of the supply chain. So B2B company share information with its supplier on demands for its product, thus reduce the cost of paper from processing. Bukan tu sahaja, okay, dalam supply chain, dalam value chain, we have a sales and production elements. So we can integrate the data from sales and production. So we can use information system to give the data to share the information from the sales department to the production, so they can predict the how many production they need to be produced for each of the product. So what are the benefit of a supply chain in business to business company? So another benefits is to reduce costs. We can reduce costs through outsourcing, where the company can outsource or use virtual integration to transfer asset and costs such as inventory holding cost to third-party companies. So this company can enjoy low cost through price competition and reduce spend on manufacturing capacity and holding capacity. So with the with e-supply chain management, we can outsource some of the part or component inside the value chain, and we can virtually integrate between our productions, for example, production and outbound logistic, ataupun our raw materials and production. So we can outsource the raw materials. Okay, for example, saya bagi contoh pasal KFC last Sunday. So KFC, instead of they grow it by themselves, they have a chicken farm, they can outsource it. Okay, and then how to make the production unit in the value chain and the raw material value chain communicate. They can do virtual integration where they can communicate through a software itself, through a network communication. So tak perlu nak kena ada paper and so on. So they can reduce two type of sources here. First is they can reduce two type of cost here. The first is in term of the outsourcing cost. Tak perlulah KFC nak kena hire pekerja untuk jaga ayam, untuk do the processing and so on. And then another part of thing is they can reduce the cost in term of the communication itself. They can do the communication virtually. Tak perlu nak kena pergi sana and here and there. No, they can communicate virtually. Okay, the last benefit of e-supply chain to B2B company is innovation itself. ECM should make it possible to be more flexible in delivering a more diverse range of products and to reduce time to market. So of course, we have discussed it in detail on Sunday how the information system or the e-supply chain, electronic supply chain may help in make the innovation more successful. Okay, where you can communicate or integrate with a vendor or supplier around the globe. You can communicate with them efficiently, sharing the information efficiently, and many more. Okay, here are the some examples company that have been implemented in supply chain management. First is BlueScope Steel, known as BHP Steel. Is a steel company that have a branch that have the organizations scattered around the globe. It's based in Australia. It has a branch in China, in New Zealand, and many more. So they use the supply chain management to communicate. And then the second example here is Shell Chemical. So they implement supply inventory management order network to communicate. So this will be a tutorial, and the tutorial nanti akan ada where you have to read on this assignment, the supply inventory management system. And the third example here is Alamica Chemical. Okay, so Alamica Chemical has came up with one network communication for supply chain. So it has their own marketplace portal, and it has their own e-supply chain that allow to communicate between several components of their value chain. Okay, you can go to the website to read about it. So what are the options that we have or the organization have in the e-supply chain management? So here are two options given. The first is some of data transfer options and standards which enable in ECM. The first data transfer standard options available is EDI. EDI stands for Electronic Data Interchange. It's the intercompany communication of business document in a standard format. So it's used for exchanging order, delivery notes, and invoices between two organizations. So in EDI transaction, usually information moves directly from a computer application in one organization to another computer application in another organization. So it's removed the paper-based exchange between two organizations. So that is EDI. And then another option yang ada dalam data transfer is XML EDI based. So usually it's a marketplace hub enable one-to-many data transfers, such as request for order being transmitted to potential suppliers. So EDI usually is one-to-one. Dalam XML EDI base, it's one-to-many. So data can be uploaded on a batch basis or real-time mode. Okay, and another option it has in data transfer is a middleware or a software used to integrate or translate requests from external systems such as sales order and then trigger follow-up events to fulfill the order. Okay, the last option yang ada ialah manual email or online purchases in a traditional web-based or e-commerce store. Okay, and another option yang ada ialah enterprise resource planning. Okay, this technology enable data to be transferred to supplier from clients using enterprise resource planning. So ERP is a system that connects different functions within an organization as well as an organization's supply chain partners. So it enables various business partner and organization entities to share information such as order status, product schedules, sales record, as well as to plan production, logistics, and marketing promotion. So ERP usually it will connect across a value chain component. So biasanya daripada raw materials to the product, outbound logistics to the production to the sales and marketing. So it shares the information from the dia bukan sekadar upstream, it's also downstream. So maknanya daripada sales and marketing department also will share the information about the sales to the production and also to the raw materials. So a various ERP system is a type of a system. Banyak company yang di luar sana yang develop ERP system that available for businesses to purchase the system for their businesses, for their organization. So we have looked into the supply chain management, and then kita dah tahu apa dia supply chain management, and then kita dah tengok macam mana how e-supply chain or how information system, how e-business can help solving a problem in supply chain, and then kita dah tengok value chain, or why we have looked into a value chain to give an a better understanding on what is supply chain management. So now, what are the key elements in managing our supply chain? So Stewart and this author, Stewart's 2000, state that typically low cost is the main driver for partnership management in supply chain management. So the key elements that has been agreed by these authors is in managing the supply chain management is partnership management. So it says that the company needs to focus on core competencies, reduce their numbers of suppliers, develop strong partnership relationship built on shared information and trust with the remaining supplier. So the keywords here is the key element of restructuring of supply chain is examining the form of relationship with partners such as suppliers and distributor. So we know kita nak move from traditional supply chain to the e-supply chain. So how to do that? So the key element is we have to examine, the first thing that we need to do, examine the relationship between partners such as suppliers and distributors and also the customers. So what type of relationship that we have, how we communicate with them, with our partners. So we need to focus more on the competency, and then focus on how to reduce the number of suppliers. So instead of kita have a number of suppliers, try to find a trust suppliers, and then try to build a strong partnership relationship. Okay, macam mana nak build a strong partnership relationship? We share the information. We make sure they can handle, they have an information regarding our stock and so on. So what is supplier relationship management? It's a process that defines how a company interact with its suppliers. As the name suggests, this is a mirror image of customer relationship management. Just as a company needs to develop relationship with its customer, it also needs to foster relationship with its supplier. So the desired outcome is a win-win relationship where both parties benefit. So we know we have a CRM. Okay, this is focused on supplier relationship management, a process how to interact with our supplier. So SRM includes both business practices and software, and it's part of the information flow component of supply chain management. So antara benda yang how we can improve our supply chain management is by including supplier relationship management in our SCM. So SRM practice create a common frame of reference to enable effective communication between an enterprise and supplier who may use quite different business practice and terminology. So as a result, SRM increases the efficiency of process associated with acquiring goods and services, managing inventory, and processing materials. So another component that we can use to enhance SCM is partnership relationship management. Previously, we have talked about supplier relationship management. So what is partnership relationship management, or PRM? It's a system of methodologies, strategies, software, and web-based capabilities that help a vendor to manage partner relationship. The general purpose of PRM is to enable vendors to better manage their partners through the introduction of reliable system, process and procedure for interacting with them. So PRM is a system that allows us to communicate, okay, and interact with our partners. Okay, partners apa partners? Partners actually including our suppliers. It's also including our distributors, our logistic partners. Okay, that's our partners. Supplier focusing on siapa yang produce raw materials to us. So what base PRM system typically include the content management system, a partner and customer contact database, and the notion of a partner portal, which allows partners to log in and interact with a vendor sales opportunity database and obtain product pricing and training information. There are a number of solution providers who offer PRM software. Companies who rely heavily on a PRM solution to stay relevant in their respective industries. So then these are some of the strategic options for partnerships that we can focus in PRM. So for example, antaranya ialah long-term contract, profit sharing, strategic alliance, and then total ownership and so on. So from the table 6.4, the relationship between partners increases, the volume and the complexity of information exchange requirement will increase. So makin strong relationship with our partner, the complexity of information exchange akan increase. So for a long-term arrangement, information exchange can include short-term orders, medium to long-term capacity commitments. Commitment tu macam mana? Kita create a contract with them. Okay, banyak mana, how long, okay, bila stock kita, for example with our partnership, logistic partnership. So we have a commitment. So maknanya dalam apa-apa keadaan within for 2 years. So they need to commit with us to distribute our product. Okay, and then the long-term financial or contractual agreement, product design, including specification, and many more. So that's all for topic 7, which is supply chain management. If you do have any question, please post it on your group Telegram, or you may PM me. And then please proceed with tutorial. I have posted the tutorial on the Google Classroom. Okay, where there is a 2 case study that you have to read it and answer several questions there. Okay, that's our class. Thank you. Assalamualaikum and very good evening or morning.